Jeanne Manford was a shy, petite lady, only 5'2", from Flushing, Queens. A mother and an elementary school teacher, she became an activist for gay rights, drawn in by her son's involvement in the 1970s. She realized children like her son couldn't do it alone. They needed their families to be involved too. She founded PFLAG, the national support group. NPR's Lily Percy brings us this remembrance.
In 2009, President Obama made a speech at his annual Human Rights Campaign dinner.
Soon after the protests at Stonewall, 40 years ago, the phone rang in the home of a soft-spoken elementary school teacher named Jeanne Manford. It was 1 a.m, and it was the police. Now, her son Morty had been at the Stonewall the night of the raids. Ever since, he had felt within him a new sense of purpose. So when the officer told Jeanne that her son had been arrested, which was happening often to gay protesters, she was not entirely caught off guard. And then the officer added one more thing. And you know, he's homosexual. Well, that police officer sure was surprised when Jeanne responded, "Yes, I know. Why are you bothering him?"
Jeanne Manford always supported her son, Morty.
When my brother needed her, she just dropped everything for him. She was like a mother bear.
That's Manford's daughter, Suzanne. Suzanne was 21 when Morty came out. A few years earlier, Manford's oldest son, Charles, had died from an accidental drug overdose. So when Morty ended up in the hospital in 1972, after being brutally beaten at a protest rally, Jeanne Manford knew that she had to act.
The most important thing is communication, love in a family, understanding, and respect. And so many, of course, when the parents come, they are full of guilt, they're ashamed, they don't want to tell the neighbors. And we try to relax them. We can understand their initial trauma, the surprise, and but we try to let them know that homosexuality is just another shade of sexuality. It is no better, no worse than anything else. Our children are as good as anybody's, and we love our children. And I don't care if anybody knows what people know personally, because my son is more important to me than the gossip that might go around the neighborhood or among people. And people, my friends, I have many, respect me and understand, and they feel as I do.
After the attack, Manford wrote a letter to the editor of the New York Post, criticizing the police for not protecting him. She said, "I have a homosexual son, and I love him." 2 months later, she marched alongside Morty in what would eventually become New York's Pride March, an unprecedented move according to writer Eric Marcus. He wrote an oral history of the gay rights movement in the U.S. called Making History.
It's a little hard to imagine now what that period was like, how revolutionary it was for a parent to walk in the Gay Pride March in New York City carrying a sign that said, "Parents unite in support of our gay children." The timing was right. The time really called for someone like Jeanne, and Jeanne was there.
In 1973, Manford organized the first formal meeting of PFLAG, which took place at a local church in Greenwich Village. 20 people gathered, and soon after, she began to receive calls from other parents, all across the country, who wanted to start groups in their own communities.
Morty's life, tragically, was cut short by AIDS, but the cause endured. And today, the organization they founded for parents, families, and friends of lesbians and gays has more than 200,000 members and supporters. It's made a difference for countless families across America. And Jeanne would later say, "I considered myself such a traditional person. I didn't even cross the street against the light. But I wasn't going to let anybody walk over Morty." That's the story of America, of ordinary citizens organizing, agitating, and advocating for change, of hope stronger than hate, of love more powerful than any insult or injury, of Americans fighting to build for themselves and their families a nation in which no one is a second-class citizen, in which no one is denied their basic rights, in which all of us are free to live. And that's the promise we're called to fulfill, day by day, law by law, changing mind by mind. That is the promise we are fulfilling. Thank you for the work you're doing. God bless you. God bless America.
Manford received letters from gay people from all over the world. thanking her for standing up for them and for loving them unconditionally. It is this love, Drum says, that he will remember most.
Jeanne Manford is like the Rosa Parks of the gay rights movement. She is the mother to all gay people, but she's particularly the mother to gay people whose parents have rejected them.
These are the parents of gay people marching in gay pride parades, just to say that they love their kids, basically. Makes me cry every time. And my parents love me. This isn't born out of any personal hardship or something. But seeing those straight parents out there on the street saying, yeah, I'm here in this parade publicly because I love my kid and I am not ashamed, kills me every time.
Pioneer. The American Heritage Dictionary defines pioneer as one who ventures into unknown territory. Since 1972, when PFLAG's founding mother, Jeanne Manford, marched in New York City's Gay Pride Parade alongside her son Morty, PFLAG and its members have been pioneers, venturing into social territories previously untouched by family members and friends of lesbian, gay, and bisexual people. Jeanne Manford was a pioneer in two ways. She marched in the Gay Pride Parade, publicly supporting Morty. She decided to form a support group in New York City for parents of lesbian and gay children. Her frontiers, the early 1970s, were hardly friendly. In spite of the Stonewall riot in 1969, which was the birth of a new gay identity, myths and misperceptions about gay and lesbian people were prevalent. Jeanne's public stance and her commitment to starting a parents group put a face on gay people that had never been shown before. The face of the family. People would now know that gays and lesbians, considered on the fringe of society, were actually just like everyone else. During PFLAG's early years, the Supreme Court upheld a Georgia sodomy law, a major setback for the rights of lesbian and gay people. AIDS exploded into a worldwide pandemic and claimed the lives of many sons, daughters, and loved ones from the PFLAG family. Hate crimes against lesbian, gay, and bisexual people escalated. But PFLAG began to establish its unique family voice on lesbian and gay issues. Members in PFLAG's formative years mailed educational materials to churches, schools, and mental health agencies. Dear Abby and Ann Landers became early public supporters. And at the end of 1987, PFLAG boasted more than 200 chapters. PFLAG has built the bridge as a family voice that will be called on by legislators, the media, and the community. PFLAG has been about love taking action. Our love in action says that we value our families. We value equality. We value justice.
In an era when peaceful protests were met with violence and coming out was a radical act, Jeanne Manford knew she had to stand by her son, Morty. Side by side, they marched proudly down the streets of New York on Stonewall's anniversary, calling upon other parents of gay and lesbian Americans to show their children the same love and acceptance. Jeanne's courage lives on in progress she fought for and in PFLAG, the organization she founded, which today claims more than 200,000 members and supporters in over 350 chapters, for insisting that equality knows no bounds of sexual orientation or gender identity. The United States honors Jeanne Manford.